Disney list time is here. That's right. Today it's all about Disneyland, and in particular, what a first-time visitor should know about the Disneyland Resort. Are you somebody that has made it on out to the original Magic Kingdom? Well, believe it or not, there are several people that have not been able to do such a thing. Yeah. Quite a few folks, as a matter of fact, still haven't had their first visit, and that is why we are here with some trusted theme park perspective. Myself, Tyler Crouch, Katrina Menzone, and Garrett Hassel, all willing to share some tips for you to make your first visit even more spectacular. Or if you happen to know somebody that is going for their very first time, pass along the link to this and let them know that we have some extras that they need to be aware of before making their way and plunking down a ton of money to the Disneyland Resort. We'll start with Katrina. What do you think when it comes to some things some first-timers should know about?
The resort is very small. Okay, so it's not like Disney World. If you've been to Disney World and Disneyland is like your second option, it's very small. So you can I honestly recommend doing a park hopper. Because you can, they're right across the way from each other. You don't have to take a monorail. You don't have to take a bus. You don't need a car. You can just use your 2 feet and walk over to the next one.
Your 2 feet?
Your 2 feet. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or you can roll your way. You can hop. You can skip. Whatever you want to do to get to the next one.
It actually takes longer to take the monorail to get to the other park.
Oh, it's not even worth it. The monorail doesn't go there. Yeah. There is a monorail, but it's not worth it.
Take the monorail to downtown Disney, hop into Grand California, then walk in. You've already gone past by, 1,000 feet, but whatever.
That would be the worst. And then I would say, because if you're doing Genie Plus and you're trying to get your lightning lanes and everything, and you're going to be paying extra for that, it's totally worth doing Park Hopper because it just saves a lot of time. If one side there's a couple rides on one side that has less time or less of a queue than the other, you can easily walk over there. It makes me so sad when people say oh, well, I'm just going to do one park one day and then the next park the next day. And I'm like, I mean, you kind of it's not worth it because you should do DCA one day in the morning and then go to Disneyland or hop back and forth and not keep yourself at Disneyland because then you may be done or maybe too busy and then you're kind of well, now what do I do? Yeah. Kind of thing. So I would say
field.
Recommend just park hopper, hop back and forth. It gives a lot of exercise. It makes you thirsty. Go to Carthay, have a drink. And then my second one would probably be remember there's reservations because a lot of people don't remember that Disney has reservation system. So even that for a first timer, I know it's a no duh type thing, but it isn't for a lot of newcomers that you need a reservation. So remember to plan ahead because if you buy a ticket, you're gonna pretty much not guaranteed you're gonna get in, but it's still you still may on a busy day not be able to get in even though you planned your whole trip out and you forgot to make a reservation. So I highly recommend making a reservation.
Great points. Tyler, first visitors, what should they know?
I guess for me, I'm thinking of kind of somebody who's been maybe to Disney World or one of the other parks and most likely Disney World. But I just think that something, especially if you're a big fan of characters, something to keep in mind that's really cool and maybe you want to be on the lookout for it, to have some conversations or take some photos or something, is that at Disneyland, one of the cool things, especially, it was gone for a little bit, but now it's coming back, is that the characters kind of just roam around a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. And it's really neat to just watch them doing their thing, and it feels more like rather than just having a line of people where they're just waiting for people to take photos and they're just standing there and there's really kind of no story to that. I think it's cool to watch Peter Pan or the Evil Queen walking around and conversing with people and just kind of they're having a vacation day at Disneyland or something. It's kind of cool. So I think keep in mind that characters are kind of doing more things when you're out at Disneyland, I think, which is always a fun thing. And then my second one, honestly, was kind of like Katrina's. We didn't really talk about it before the show, but everything is close together. Everything is again, I'm coming from the perspective of somebody who's been to Disney World maybe, and there, like Katrina said, there's no buses or anything that you have to take. You literally just walk across the street and there's the second park. And to top that all off, not even just everything that Disney owns is close together, but also there's a lot of great places outside of Disneyland that are really fun to go and check out. Like the Packing District has a lot of cool little restaurants, and there's a bar called oh gosh, now I'm blanking on
Blind
it.
Rabbit?
Well, Blind Rabbit, but
Strongwater?
Strongwater is the other one. I was like, if you're a big fan of tiki, then Strongwater is like a really cool bar that you need, because I feel like Walt Disney himself kind of created the whole tiki love in a lot of ways, like at least in Southern California. So I
And
think a lot of
also-
people that like Disney love tiki as well. What are you
Like,
gonna say?
because the resort's so small, don't think you have to stay at the Disneyland Resort and pay a pretty penny like you do at Walt Disney World as well, because there's tons of surrounding hotels that are nearby that are walking distance. So don't forget that. Like Disney World, yes, you might want like the bus system because there's like if you stay and you pay the pretty penny, but Disneyland you don't need to pay like $1,000 for a room just so you can get access to Disney California Adventure from the Grand Californian, or whatever. So it just remember that like you don't need to do it unless you want to. That's up to you. But I'm saying like if you want to try to save money, there's like places right across the street, just like a 2-minute walk away.
Again, this isn't Disney World.
It's different.
Yeah.
Everything is
the middle
very
of the city.
close here. Yeah.
I think too, like something to remember in that vein of everything is so close together is that there is like when you're at like Magic Kingdom, for example, like the walkways do feel very wide a lot of the time, like unless maybe it's like almost firework time or something like that. But when
And then
you
they shrink.
then they actually physically get smaller. No, but Disneyland is tight. Disneyland is a tightly packed place, so maybe like pack your patience a little bit if you've never been before, because you're gonna run into a lot of little what do you call them, funnels of people, so yeah, it's something to keep in mind, and maybe give yourself a little extra time if you have to get from place to place. But
All part of the charm.
yeah,
It is.
honestly it is part of the charm, because there's something about World like Magic Kingdom versus Disneyland which it just feels so much more corporate.
Disneyland's better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we are all in agreement here, I think.
Oh,
so.
oh yeah.
But yeah, so that I guess that's another thing I could say is just if you've never been to Disneyland, it has a whole different feel to it. So than any
So
of the other
plan
parks.
an extra
so.
day just to walk and sit and stare at things. Just don't ride rides. Just walk, sit, stare, enjoy the ambiance.
Buy a corn dog.
Yeah, sit there.
Sit on
eat
a
corn
park
dog.
bench.
Oh,
Get
that
your
sounds great.
popcorn. Doesn't it though?
Popcorn.
And Garrett, if you had an opportunity to share with folks some first-time visitors a few tips, what would you say? What would you tell them?
Well, Katrina said something I answered about like staying off property. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
sorry.
pivot real fast and yeah, it's okay. You only have like 5.
She
answers
took
on
mine too.
I would say do another Disney park, like Disney World. The Disneyland Resort, I find that the attractions are a little bit longer and they're a little bit higher quality. You compare something as simple as Pirates of the Caribbean. The Disneyland version is going to be about 9 minutes long and has a lot more immersive storytelling, has multiple drops, while the Disney World version is like 5 minutes and you're kind of off before you even realize you're like, oh, that's it. A lot, and also has Indiana Jones Adventure, probably the best attraction ever made compared to Dinosaur, that lovely little thing. But the attractions at the Disneyland Resort, I think, are just superior for the most part to anything Walt Disney World has to offer. But the second thing I would probably say is it's the original park. It's where it all started. It's like what Tyler said, where there's an ambiance, there's an energy. You feel Walt was there, because Walt never actually got to really touch anything of Disney World other than the land he acquired before he unfortunately passed away. So when you're there, just take in the energy, take in the atmosphere, because it has a different feel. It feels a lot more welcoming and warm. And that's not to say the weather, because Florida is way hotter, but Disneyland's the original, and you can definitely feel the magic in the air, and
In the air.
In the air.
It's a real place.
Feel the love.
As opposed to what?
Yeah, the attraction. Yeah, you can feel it in the water. I don't know.
Yeah,
In the water.
That's some
But no,
sweet
Disneyland,
water.
it's beautiful, and it's got everything going for it. It really is perfect, except for the whole being landlocked in LA thing.
Yeah, that does
It's
create
Orange
some problems.
County.
Yeah, jeez.
Orange County, my bad. Sorry.
Get your counties right, sir. Oh, you.
We still love you.
That's why he's our golden goose, Garrett
right.
Hassel. That's why he. Whoop.
Oh, there it is.
Wanna do the
Yeah,
goose
that's
sound.
it. Yeah, see, not the duck one.
Wow.
What are they?
You look like
doing?
you look like a cat trying to vomit right there for a second.
This is the they kind of make that honky noise
my.
because geese honk versus a duck is like.
Well, that was a pretty good duck.
He can do it all. Every sound.
I try my best. I do taxes too. Don't ask me to do your taxes though, because I'm pretty bad at them.
Don't get him to do your taxes.
Well, now we turn it on over to all of you. When it comes to first-time visitor tips, what would you suggest? Leave it in our comment section. As always, we appreciate hearing your perspective.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.